probably say you do a good job for your clients. I know the stat. Do you remember how many you guys closed last year?
We did 800 transactions.
800 real estate transactions. Well, you need 100 agents to do that.
In this crazy market, too, man, right?
Right. Isn't that right? Hey, by the way, that voice, you guys probably recognize that voice because it's at least the fourth time that this guy has been in studio with me, one of our good friends. That is none other than Green Beret Bruce Parkman. How you doing, Bruce?
Hey, Frank the Bank. Good to be back, man. Always a pleasure to be on your show. And hats off to the iHeart Studio guys, man. This thing's top notch, bro.
Thank you. It's a beautiful, beautiful studio. We love being over here in Feather Sound. Actually, this is a little closer to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't have to cross that crazy bridge over there, man. So it's a lot closer.
I know when I talked to you yesterday, I'm like, I'm on your side of the bridge, right?
St. Pete's my side, man. Love it.
It sure is. And if you guys haven't heard Bruce's story, I got to say this is probably one of the most emotional, impactful stories that I've ever had on my radio show. Actually, Ksenia, when she was doing some research on the history of the show, we were talking last week, and she's like, well, I heard this one show, and it had this guy on it, and he was talking about brain injuries and this and that. And ironically, Bruce chatted with me the other day. I was like, hey, I've got something really important coming up here in Tampa. What about we get together on the show again? So very ironic. So you guys get to meet here on the show. But Bruce is a great friend of the show, and we are a huge supporter of his cause. And am I right, the Mac Parkman Foundation?
Yes, sir. Mac Parkman Foundation.
Mac Parkman Foundation. So if you guys get a minute before the end of the first segment, maybe look that up, do a little research. But we're going to be talking about the injuries to the brain that young youth incur. And this I'm not talking about, we're going to get into it starting the second segment, but I'm not talking about necessarily huge injuries. Bruce has really educated me and the listeners on, you don't have to have your skull smashed into a wall to get an injury to the brain. It's actually cumulative. These tiny little mini concussions, little tiny head bangs can lead to something absolutely terrible, which happened. And what our goal in this show and having Bruce on here is to save lives. That is really the truth. And education saves lives. To deviate to real estate, education also saves money. Right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what we want to bring to the table in every show with y'all, a little bit of education. We're not going to bore you with new rules and regulations. We're going to tell you when it's important, but what's amazing about having Ksenia and Rosa as partners is they're literally in the trenches every single day. When you guys are working for a company that does 800 transactions, I think you've probably seen a few, right?
Just a few things.
Right? Just a few. And they recognize the importance of education. So that's why I decided I wanted to partner with them, because they share that same love for the customer. And we know that if we educate them and we walk them down the right path, it's going to be a great transaction. They're going to be happy, and they're going to be getting to the house for the right price and the right mortgage and all that good stuff. So how about a way to contact y'all, just in case they're wanting to make a call before we're done with the show?
So if you want to reach myself, Rosa, or Ksenia, you can reach us at 727-608-6235. Again, that's 727-608-6235.
You got it, 608-6235, the 727 on this side of the bridge. You guys can reach out to them anytime. And listen, if you're driving and you can't write down the number, you can literally go to contactthefrankthebank.com, reach out to me. You're also welcome to text me. My number is so public. I just had a friend lose his phone recently. He's like, man, I lost all the numbers, but I found yours before anybody's. Well, that's good and bad, I guess.
Probably remembered it.
Right? Well, actually, you know what, Bruce? That's why I bought 813 Mortgage. I literally paid a bunch of money for that phone number, and then I got that website because I thought, you got to have a number people are going to remember. So I can guarantee that Rosa and Ksenia are going to have something within the next month. We're gonna figure out something for them, whether it's a little website or a different number or something. But I mean, it's not like your number's hard, 727-608-6235. But we're gonna get something.
We'll get something.
We're something. That's all we're promising you guys is something.
It's coming.
So let's talk about the market. Ladies, do you have anything you want to share? Or do you want me to ask you some questions on that?
So actually yesterday, one of our buyer clients asked us, so if we have 20% equity, once we get to that point in home ownership, how should I go about removing my private mortgage?
That is a really good. Bruce, do you even know the answer to that question?
I do not.
Awesome.
I'm all ears because I have a house.
He's got a house. We are educating today. So that is a really good. So a lot of people think that you have to refinance to get rid of your mortgage insurance. And that is only true in one loan product. So if you have an FHA loan, a government FHA loan, right, you likely only put 3.5% down on your house. And FHA is going to charge you a funding fee, which is upfront, and they're also going to charge you monthly PMI, mortgage insurance, right? And it's kind of a bad word because first things first, mortgage insurance only protects the lender. It protects the lender. If you stop paying your mortgage payments, they get paid back because of this insurance on the house. So it's literally wasted money for you as a consumer. So you don't want to pay it as fast as you can. So to answer your question for that listener, we're going to say there's two ways to answer it. If it's an FHA loan, you have no choice. You have to refinance. Okay? Only way to do it. Good news is rates are going down. Okay? And I'm a squirrel just for a second. This morning on a podcast I did, Google is saying the rates right now are 7.4%.
Wow.
Say it.
I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing 5s and 6%.
By the way, I did not tell Ksenia, did I tell her to say that?
You did not.
I did not.
Look at you, Rosa.
Right. So I know. So even my podcast partner, who's a realtor, he's like, yeah, this is not even accurate, and we're looking at, so the truth is the rates are actually in the 5s and 6s, government or conventional. So the reason I say that is you're going to refi. If you're in an FHA loan and you took out a house in the last couple of years, you're going to refi because you're going to be able to get a better deal when these rates start coming down, which they will, maybe as soon as tomorrow. The answer to the conventional side, all other loan products, the conventional side, right? You don't have to refi. You can simply call the lender when you believe you have the 20% equity. Now, I would advise you to call when you think you have 22 to 25% equity, right? Most of the time, all they're going to do is make you pay for an appraisal. They're going to give you a list, or they're going to say, I need an independent appraiser, blah, 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 which we can always help you with. You're going to pay an appraiser. They're going to do an appraisal. And if that shows you have the equity, they will drop your mortgage insurance for free.
Wow.
Well, just the cost of an appraisal. So maybe that costs you $500, but your PMI might be $400 a month, right? So it's a great benefit. Now, I would recommend, just because of the way we've seen the market change here in the last few months, how rates are coming down, I'd recommend you have a conversation with a mortgage professional, okay? And we're happy to have a quick conversation with you. We don't charge anything. We don't charge app fees. Hell, you can text me 813-765-1239, and I will have a quick 5-minute conversation, and I'll say, you know what? Maybe you should refi because it might be beneficial to drop the rate and get rid of the mortgage insurance. But if not, get rid of it. And here's another cool piece of education. If you have come into some money, right? And let's say grandma left you $25,000. and you'd like to put it against your house, do not just send the mortgage company a check. If you send them a check, do you know what I'm about to say?
Yes, I have a feeling. So because it'll go towards interest and principal, you want it to go directly towards your principal.
Yes. And I'm going to take that a step further.
Okay.
You ready? So if you just send them a check, they're going to drop your principal. What are they not going to drop? Guess. Something.
PMI?
No, well, they could do that too.
Okay.
That could be all part of it. Something else they're not going to change if you just send them a check for the principal. Bruce, guess. What do you think they're not going to change?
They're not going to change their interest rate, I'll tell you that.
No, that is right. The payment.
Yeah.
Right. Because India's like, well, there's only one other thing. So if this was true or false, I got half of it. So no, the truth is they're not going to change your payment. So you have to do what's called a recast. And it is possible. So think about this if you're a person, and if you call me and I say it's not beneficial to refi because your rate's good, then I'm going to tell you, call your company and say, I want to get rid of PMI because I've got the equity. And I'm going to send you a check and I'm going to drop my principal balance and I want you to recast my payment. That means they're literally going to re-amortize your payment based on your new principal balance, which means it's going to go down. Simple as that. And most lenders will let you do that once a year for free.
Wow.
And you don't have to refi. So there's a little trick. Now, I just sold myself out of like 4,000 refis. But yeah, the truth is, do right by people, and you will always get business. My grandfather taught me that many, many years ago. Take care of people, and people will take care of you. So it doesn't mean we have to do a deal for everybody. Okay, so we got a minute left here in the business happy hour. I want to reintroduce one more time Rosa and Ksenia. If you guys want to just give us something fun about yourselves or something like that before we go into break.
Fun fact, I can ride a unicycle.
You cannot.
I can.
Where the heck did you learn to do that?
That's a skill.
So
That is a skill.
bring one next time and I'll teach you how to.
Oh my! And then she's gonna make us try to do
I'll
it.
guarantee you're not teaching somebody how to ride a unicycle.
Bruce,
That will not
I'm
happen.
bringing you in for that. Bringing you in for that for sure. And Ksenia, fun fact. Give me something.
I mean, not fun, but you guys called me out on the whole Russian spy thing. Not a spy, but I am Russian and I speak Russian, so would love to, have more Russian clients.
All right. Well, that's it, guys, for the first segment of the Business Happy Hour. We'll be back in just a minute with Bruce Parkman and the Mac Parkman Foundation. Ksenia and Rosa, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute on the Business Happy Hour.
Very good for that. You ride a unicycle?
Perfect.
What?
Yep.
How did you ever
reset
learn
time.
that?
What's that?
Riding a unicycle, I mean.
Yeah. How did you learn
So
that?
I went to Oldsmar Elementary, and the old principal rode a unicycle, and he was the tallest man I ever met, and he had the unicycle club. So I learned, and I bought one. I saved money, and I bought it $75 for this yellow unicycle. It's so cute.
I mean, here's the thing about a unicycle. How the hell do you learn without busting your ass?
Oh, it's so easy. It's one simple trick, and once you get that, you guys will all be riding.
Dude, you really seriously need to bring that in. I
Okay.
would cry. I want to go on video,
Dude,
right?
I'd be paying to fix the walls up. I'd be smacking my head against them.
For real. I need knee pads, elbow pads, probably a helmet to start.
Just wrap me in bubble wrap, man, and let me
A
go.
butt pad.
dude.
We could wrap bubble wrap around our waist.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
I should have followed that up when I grew up in the circus, but
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you should. You did not
yeah,
really grow.
you
Did you
did.
really grow up in the circus?
Oh, yeah.
don't do it.
What was your specialty?
Don't do it, man.
Dude, wait,
Yeah.
Were
what
you
did
the
you do in the
trapeze?
circus?
Were you the trapeze?
I didn't
or-
do two. My parents were acrobats.
Oh, are you joking? That's
No.
a cool story.
I know, but
All right, next
We
show.
gotta
come
bring
on,
it
man.
up.
Next
we are
show.
doing that.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
you
have
got
to prepare
I'm
myself
writing
for
this down
the.
right now. Hold on.
All
This
my
is
Dun,
friends.
dun,
will be
dun,
like,
dun,
what?
dun,
And
dun,
it
dun.
comes with that.
Oh my God, that is going to be so awesome. All right, how do I get back to my screen?
That's like the second Madagascar 2 movie when they all took over the circus, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That was a good one. So, okay, quiet on the set. We're ready to fire the intro. Could you hear the intro before? Oh, okay.
Just you.
Okay. Got it.
Are you wanting to make a move? You've got to get pre-approved. Lincoln Lending Group and 813 Mortgage specialize in no-fee loans with the lowest rates in Florida. Simply send Frank and his team the lending estimate from another lender or bank, and his team will provide you with a written, no-junk fee estimate in just minutes without requiring a new loan application. You heard that right. You don't need a new loan application to receive the lowest loan quote from Lincoln Lending in writing. Visit 813mortgage.com or call 813-MORTGAGE. And don't forget, you drop the E, we'll drop the fee.
And now back to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Cotto and Jason McIntosh.
All right, Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show for all things business and entrepreneurial. And man, we have a great show for you. I do want to make a quick correction because you guys are hearing the intros here, and we haven't had a chance to record our intros. And I totally forgot because as the host, you a lot of times don't even listen to your intros. So I did tell James to play the intros today, and I realized it keeps saying Jason McIntosh, who's still a friend of Lincoln Lending Group. We still do business with Jason. He's a great guy. The McIntosh Group is definitely a great company. We both share the title last year for Best of the Best in Tampa Bay. His company got voted Best of the Best Real Estate. We got voted Best of the Best Mortgage. So that was pretty cool. So we do want to say he's a great company. You still support him. We just are not doing the radio together anymore. That's why I have these lovely voices here that you get to hear. Rosa and Ksenia in studio. And of course, our guest, Bruce Parkman. I tell you what, if anybody I think might have a better radio voice than me, I think it's Bruce Parkman. I think this guy.
I think
Well,
so,
that's
too.
because I have a face for radio.
It does. Listen, I didn't tell him he was going to be on video today. So
He made sure his hair was done.
he
Oh, dude,
did.
man. Yeah, this is all new here, man. Growing it out.
That's all new. God, somebody, Bruce, you're going to laugh at this, but I was out of town for a little while, and I was up at the farm, and I didn't shave. Right. And I came back and I had a meeting with my VP and I hadn't shaven it. And my beard was, I don't know, it's not that long. It was maybe like an inch or something like that. And she's like, oh, I see you stopped using that stuff. And I'm like, what stuff are you talking about? She's like, well, that stuff you put in your beard. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, and she's like, the color. And I'm like, I don't color my beard. I'm like, what are you talking? Well, I guess because I grew it out and I'm getting a little gray. So the gray showed more when I grew it out than when. So, of course, this morning I'm like, shaving this on a number 2. So, anyway, I just thought that was funny because, I'm growing hair in places I never thought you'd get hair anymore.
You get older, boy, you turn into a fur ball. Let me tell you. But this is all natural right here, man.
It
No
looks
color.
good,
No
man.
color.
Bruce,
here,
how
man.
old are you?
I am 61, pushing 62.
Man, Bruce, you look phenomenal. I
Yeah.
mean, right, ladies?
Yes,
Absolutely.
How old are you, Frank?
Oh, God, I'm 45.
45.
Puppies here, man.
Should I put the ladies on the spot? I won't make you do it.
Don't do that.
Say Rosa.
If you want.
How old are you, Rosa?
So I will be 29 in February.
My God. So successful, too,
Thank
for
you.
29.
Good for you.
Thank you.
That is, and you can ride a unicycle.
And I can write it.
And I'm not going to
man.
color out.
I am only in the last few days of my 30s, so I'll be 40.
Oh,
That's not that bad.
Xenia
Don't worry
looks
about
Very,
like
it.
very
she's
soon.
27
I-
now.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Listen, I know
But-
you get ID'd when you go places, don't you?
Oh, please.
She does
Like,
look
no,
young.
like I'm
She-
it's starting to
you do
hit me.
not
I'm like,
look
it's
like you're
coming up
getting
that
ready to hit
big
40.
birthday, you know.
Yeah, I got to say, totally off topic, but I feel like I'm like in the best shape of my life at 45. And so guys, it's never too late, right? You get off your tails. I really started working out again when I turned 40. And it's like a new world, it's like I can run with the kids now. I don't get tired anymore. And I'm going to if I have hair like this guy when I'm 61, like every man in my family has no hair. So
Gotta let it go.
I think I may actually, and I love his hair though. Anyway, all right, so let's get serious for a minute. Don't forget that we do real estate. So if you guys want to get any information on real estate or houses or anything like that, Ksenia and Rosa are the place to go. If you forget their number, which I'm going to tell you again, 727-608-6235, you can always go to contactfrankthebank.com or 813-MORTGAGE. Easy to remember. I will get you in touch with these wonderful ladies, and you will have the full backing of the Ray Mahara Group. Ray Mahara and Associates.
Mahara and
I say
Associates.
that.
Mahara and Associates,
Sorry,
yeah.
Mahara and Associates. You will have the full backing and the experience of that team behind you. And you might be able to get on the radio because these girls are going to be famous sooner than later.
That's what we keep hearing. We'll see.
Get ready. Get ready. We're going to figure that out. All right, Bruce. I know the story. Ksenia got to hear the story because she listened to a previous show. But if you don't mind, will you recap the story about your son Mac and what led you down this journey? And as we get close to time, I'll wave you, and then we can pick it up in the third segment as well. But tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to talk about the conference that you are bringing to Tampa, which I think is very important for people to know about.
All right, and don't forget, we're not just talking real estate here. If you need a boat, you can come to Frank because Frank figured that one out for me back in the day. So.
Oh, so you sell boats.
No, I helped him get a loan to get a boat.
Oh,
Oh,
Frank
yeah.
does that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
Frank
no, no.
does
Well,
that too.
It was on a house. It was on a house.
It wasn't real estate, but it was.
Yeah.
So you bought a house with a boat.
Yeah,
that was-
we'll just say
use
yes.
my house to get a boat.
There you go.
Okay,
There you go.
okay.
Great investing.
All right, so long story short, for all you listeners, man, I mean, we're here to really just hope and pray that you listen. I lost my son 3 years ago, Mac, 17 years old. He took his life by running off a 100-foot cliff, and left me in an unbelievable hole because we had no reason. Who runs off a cliff? He never showed he was mentally ill. He was just a beautiful, handsome, caring, loving child. And next thing you know, my football, wrestling, and snowboarding friend was gone. Well, that led us on a real serious search, and the Lord did throw His hand in there and helped us out. And our son was accepted at the Boston University CTE program with the NFL players. And then I went on a journey in a really, really deep hole. And I just read every research paper because the coroner asked me about CTE, which I didn't even know what it was. It's chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the NFL disease. Well, my son didn't have it. So I'm like, all right, if he didn't have it, what did he die from? And it turned out that my research, which has been validated by every CT and sports neurologist, NFL players, everybody I've talked to, is that these little hits, they're called RHI, repeated head impacts, that our children take when they play high-risk sports. Could be gymnastics, wrestling, heading the soccer ball, hockey, football, rugby, any of these sports where these hits take place, damage the brain at the microcellular level. Now, can that heal? Yeah, if it's 1 or 2 times. But when that brain is continuously hit, and we're talking about 50, 60, 100 times in a football practice, in the wrestling match, 10 times, gymnastics, right? Smacking the head against something. that over the time, long-term exposure leads to brain damage, and that brain damage was absolutely correlated with the mental illnesses that took my son's life. So my issue is that as a parent, I didn't know. Didn't know. And I want parents to know that this is a risk, that it can be mitigated. We can still have football and contact sports. But if we don't wait until the brain's better developed, then we're going to continue to have harmed children, suffering adolescents, young men in jail, young men that and women right now, and we'll talk a little bit later, that are harming themselves because they love their sports. And it's all about exposure and mitigation, just like in the Bible says, everything in moderation.
Right.
And I didn't do that. So, yeah, that's what we're here to spread the word. The information's free. We have a free book. But it's so important for parents to know that your child's brain is all they have. It's going to determine their socioeconomic status. It determines everything they're going to be that the Lord intended them to be in their life. If you start allowing that brain to shake over and over again, then you're actually harming your child.
So, guys, I want you to stay tuned. We're going to pick up more from Bruce Parkman as soon as we get back from this quick break, and we're going to find out how we can protect our kids on the Business Happy Hour. Awesome. All right, he's going to bring us back in 60 seconds.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pick up because you mentioned women too, and everybody thinks they always think men, focused men.
Yeah, big women.
I don't know if you remember this, but I right after the first or second time I had you on the show, we had a girl at my son's hockey league, and I think I put the family together.
Beautiful young lady. Yeah,
killed herself.
Yep. That's because these girls go out and they're told you can wrestle, you can play hockey, you can play rugby, you can play against the boys.
Yeah.
Well, the boys hit them harder than anything because they're just physiologically, not weaker, but they're slimmer, they're lighter, so they take more trauma than the boys, and that trauma impacts them. We've had so many soccer players take their lives, man. I mean,
and people don't think of soccer as an impact sport. Like it's not, they run into each other here and there, but that ball. I just watched my son's soccer game, which we should talk about this on the air, but I watched my son's soccer game the other day, and one of the players, they run into each other. He hits the ground. The opposing player kicks the ball. I mean, hit the guy in the face from a foot away. Full on hit him in the face. Ball bounces off of his face. Guy kicks it again, and it hit the kid in the chest. And it's not that guy meant to do it, but the guy was just trying to move the ball. So anyway, he's saying we're ready to go on air. Let's get on air and talk about this on there. Awesome. Thanks. And I'll wave if we're talking. I'll give, this means 1 minute, right? Okay. And then when he tells me 30, I'll give you 30. By that time, I'll start trying to get us out.
The media train doesn't stop on 970 WFLA. Our host and co-host have podcasts for your listening pleasure. Frank hosts The Positive Patriot on Apple Podcast with co-host Brad DeMint, talking about the positive things going on in America and the brighter side of politics. The high energy positivity doesn't stop there. Jason the Mac McIntosh hosts the Real Mac Moves podcast with co-host Ryan Owens, making real estate easy and much more, from mindset to business tips with amazing guests. Find them on Google and Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Tune in today. And back to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Cotto.
Hey, Tampa Bay, Frank the Bank Cotto here. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and wherever internet is sold. We're here in studio with my new co-hosts, Ksenia and Rosa from the Mahara and Associates. Mahara and Associates. I'm going to get that right eventually. I call it Mahara Group because I'm Lincoln Lending Group, but this is a very serious side of our show. We love talking about real estate. We love helping our business and helping our clients and our friends, but sometimes we need to take a step back and we got to help the kids. We got to help those who are not always able to help themselves. And I love Bruce as a friend, and I love him, the message that he brings. So when he called me the other day, I said absolutely. We put him on the show right away. I don't want to miss a beat. Bruce, if you want to pick up a little bit from where we were in your story, we were talking about these traumatic head injuries, and I may have written the acronym down. Is it RHI or RHR?
Yeah. So when Mac left, the official scientific term was subconcussive trauma. Those hits that don't leave a symptom like a concussion. You're dizzy, you got a headache, stuff like that.
Right.
And what a lot of people don't know is the brain can't feel. All right, the brain does not feel pain.
Doesn't have nerves.
It doesn't have nerves. So as the child's brain is being, it's not like I twisted my knee. Hey, mommy, my knee hurts, my back hurts, my head hurts.
Right.
No, your brain doesn't feel pain. So as it's getting damaged, the child cannot convey to the parents that they have an injury, and the injury continues to get worse. So the term that's now being used in science, in research studies, we're called RHI, repeated head impacts.
Okay.
And those are those subconcussive events, but that's the term that's being used more and more as we go forward.
Okay, RHI.
Yes, sir.
Repeated head impacts.
Yes, sir.
So Bruce, I know you remember this. We talked about it for a minute in the break, but you mentioned girls before, because especially with what's going on in the world and all that with girls and men's sports and boys and all that. I never put two and two together on this, but there's a bigger danger to this. After I had you on the show one of the first times, a beautiful girl who played hockey at TBHH with my son committed suicide. And
yes, beautiful young lady, and way before her time. And we learned, I put you in touch with them because I'm pretty sure that what happened to her is the same thing that happened to Mac. And you were saying something in the break I'd like you to repeat for everybody about just how these injuries can occur when you don't even realize, especially for ladies. Well, there's two issues at hand. Is number one, while we empower women, right, and they are every bit as committed, as smart, as anything as a man, right?
Right.
Well, we're convinced them they can play boys' sports, but in contact, high-risk sports, the girls get hurt even more because the boys are naturally bigger. It's just how they're physiologically made. So when you have a girl, I used to watch girls wrestle guys on in my son's wrestling match. Mm-hmm. Dude, they were pinned violently in 10 or 15 seconds, like slammed around. Oh. I'm like, why don't we have a girls' league? I mean, the way to empowerment is not through getting hurt. Women in the military, 100% of the women in combat arms are 100% disabled. Because of they train like the men, and they can hang, right, but they get hurt. And so when you put a woman in a boy's sport, you have to accept the fact that they're going to suffer the subconcussive and concussive trauma even more because of how they're made. A soccer ball hits a woman because 70% harder than a boy because they have a longer neck to body ratio and a weaker neck muscle structure. No. Nothing against women. It's just something we don't think about. And a girl can kick a ball, boy. Oh, yeah. I've watched these girls smack a ball as hard as a boy, but it's hitting their teammate harder in the head, 70% harder. And so these are the little things that parents should know. It's like, all right, you're not hitting the ball till a certain age. And we're going to keep you out of some of these boys' sports right now because it's just not good for you as a human being. And we're going to find other ways and actively promote non-contact sports, boys and girls. I mean, flag football is now an NFL sport. Why can we not have NFL flag? I mean, it's an Olympic sport.
Right,
NFL's playing. They got playoffs.
Right.
Gronkowski, Mahomes, right? The best guys in the league are playing flag football. Right. Then why do our kids have to put a helmet on at 8 years old and smack the most vulnerable organ they have, the most important organ they have, other than their heart, around that and inhibit who they could become? It's just not, now that I know, and we encourage parents, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know. And we talk to parents. We have a group of families that have lost their children. And this goes, it's a huge gap. The medical and first responder nurses aren't trained. Psychiatrics aren't trained. This is not even trained right now. So we have a big mission as a foundation is to educate, not against contact sports at all. I play rugby. I'm 61 years old. I'm all about smacking a man. And I'm a retired Green Beret Sergeant Major. I'm kind of a man here, right? Yeah. But the thing is, these are children. And there are ages for this. And it must be moderated. And the parents have to be aware that these risks exist so they can make better decisions for their children. Because it's about their children. Yeah. That's all.
James, if you mind, I forgot to hit my timer. If you could just tell me where I am. All right, perfect. Awesome. Sorry, I got a little stressed on my side. I'm listening to Bruce, and I didn't even hit my button over here. So Bruce, we have actually, it's kind of funny. I ran into you. I was doing some lobbying for FAMP up in Tallahassee and walking around the corner from the state capitol right next to the governor's office. I walk out the door from the lieutenant governor's office, and here's Bruce standing there in the rotunda. But what were you doing up there? You have some sort of bill?
Yeah, so we have a bill up there. It didn't go this year. We have bicameral support, though, for legislation to get expertise with the Surgeon General so that the Surgeon General can start informing parents on this issue, but also to educate parents. So informed consent.
Yep.
So that parents, when they sign the line, because if they say, hey, you can play football, on that form, like for the Florida High School Association says, well, you understand that you could die, right? So it literally says that. You accept all the risks of playing football. Mental illness is not one of them. Right. And these parents, or brain damage, a damaged brain is one of these potential outcomes. It's not listed. we need to educate parents on what that really means. It's not just a brain injury like a broken leg that can heal and your son or daughter goes on for the rest of their life. This protects them for the rest of their life. I mean, this affects them for the rest of their life, and they should be informed. So that's what we're up there.
I love
it was good seeing you up there, man.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this guy.
That place is like a beehive up there, man. There
Oh.
are people running everywhere doing things, man.
It is. It's exciting to get up there. Ladies, do you guys have anything for Bruce? You're welcome to chime in. I talk too much.
I mean, well, you brought up flag football. So my daughter's we're going to the NFL Pro Bowl. She's playing this weekend.
Awesome.
Nice.
She's really good. We love watching her. But, that's one of the things that struck me is just, I'm glad hers is only flag and no contact. But this has just got me thinking, like, I have a godson that plays hockey. He's been doing it for years now. A question, I guess, would be, like, how do I maybe talk to my friend about this? Like, what do I say? They're really passionate about it. They, I'm sure want to continue it, but I'm a little concerned now,
Well, I mean, the thing is, too, is that you can now play these sports year-round. When I got out of high school in 1980, football was one season.
Right.
Then your brain took a break. Mm-hmm. Now you can play football for the team, the town. You can play hockey for the town, the school, and for the travel league, right? It's just too much. So I think it's all about you can have your hockey, but the key point is 14. Prefrontal cortex doesn't start developing till then. After 14, one sport. That's it. Okay, do not allow them to play multiple sports like my son, blindside guy, wrestling captain, and a snowboarder. It's just too much exposure. When we mitigate it, we're going to be fine. Professional contact sports should not be done until you're 18. You're an adult, you should know.
Are the kids safe pre-14 or not?
No, not because there is no known way to prevent subconcussive trauma. We've all seen car crash videos. When that car stops, what happens to the body?
Still
Keeps
goes
going.
forward.
When that head stops, remember the brain's encased in a fluid.
Yeah.
The brain. I don't care if you put a mattress around it. There's all these little gimmicks out there.
Right.
We can stop concussive trauma.
These foam
all
helmets and all that.
Dude, right? Parents are buying these things left and right because they love their kids.
Yeah.
What they don't know is you cannot stop subconcussive trauma.
That's the visual that I think the listeners need to get. When we've seen those car crash simulation videos where the dummies are inside, well, the car hits a brick wall and literally stops 60 to 0. But what happens to the dummy? It slams forward. That is our brain.
They did studies where the average hit was 25 Gs, right? 25 to 30 Gs is the equivalent of running your car into a bridge with a seatbelt on, okay?
Oh my.
And we have kids that take hundreds of those hits. That's the average. That means half of the hits were more than that. And it's just, once you dig into the science, what we're doing to these children's brains and our ignorance as a society and the lack of education is appalling. And it's trending, man. There's all kinds of the research, the science. The parents are supporting this more than ever because it's about their kids.
It's where it needs to start. We've got to start at the schools.
Get the mama bears out, man.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody messing with a mama's child. man. I'll tell you that right now.
We gotta, you got to start like Pop Warner. That's a big money organization, and we need. It's got to kind of start there, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to answer, Ksenia, what I did. Because when I met Bruce, it was a couple years ago, and my son was getting real serious about hockey, and we were getting to the crossroads. He just turned 14, and we were getting to the crossroads of when you could join travel leagues, and it was hitting. It wasn't just hockey. I think they call it checking or no checking, right? And so what we did as a family, we made the decision that we're going to limit at greatly anything he could do via checking. Right. And I didn't want. Now, I went and bought the stupid, most expensive helmet, which I'm sure helps somewhere, but you can't stop the brain from moving inside. And my son took a couple licks in a checking tournament that we let him play. And you know what I did? I sat him for a month. So I thought after meeting this guy, there had to be an injury. Like when he hit his head on the ice and then he hit his head on the wall, I'm like, well, I did the picture of what Bruce taught me with the car. And I thought, he needs to sit. So I made him sit out a couple weeks is what I did.
Good for you, man. Good for you. And you're going against the culture, the coaches, the other kids, the peer pressure, the desire for that kid to play and not look like, I want to be there for my team. You have to fight that in order to protect their brains because guess what? 0.023% of NFL of college of high school athletes make it to the NFL. Right? You got a much better chance to go to tech school and college school and make it all the way. Right. So when you look at the odds of your kids, making it all the way, and a lot of parents just think I got the next Tom Brady. All right. Don't play the odds, man. All right. Don't bet your kid's future on that 0.023%. Bet on him going to tech school, college, him or her, and doing something with their lives and still having the fun of sports. Sports are great. Team sports are absolutely a blast, man. Still.
So on that note, we're going to take a break here on the Business Happy Hour. When we get back, we're going to find out about the first ever conference for RHR coming right here to Tampa. Stay tuned for Bruce Parkman, Ksenia, and Rosa right here on the Business Happy Hour. Let's do it. All right.
Oh, man.
So I was going to ask, I guess, helmets, like, is there any kind of technology that's like getting better to kind of try to alleviate
let's
some
ask
of
him that
this,
on the
Yeah.
we'll bring that question up on the thing.
Yeah,
Ask
because
that.
I just found an appalling statistic, dude.
Then hit it.
Yeah.
Now this segment's only 8 minutes or 7.5
Now,
minutes.
let's get back to real estate. Let's make these girls some
No,
money,
no,
man.
no.
Yeah.
Well, what about the conference? We haven't talked about the conference.
Yeah, we'll talk about the conference.
So you asked the question about the helmets.
Okay.
Anything
Talk
else?
about Anna Maria real estate all you want, man. I monitor that all the time, man.
I'll let
You're
Rosa
like the
hit
Anna
that.
Marie
But no, I am
expert.
curious, you know.
So we'll we can do that at the end. We can definitely. I mean, we'll have Bruce back on too, and we can.
I
do
do,
this.
man. Yeah,
When is
talk about
when
my
is the
boys.
conference?
So it's May 16th and 17th. It's at CAMLS, which is the Center for Advanced Medical Learning and Simulation here in Tampa, right outside the convention.
Right.
CAMLS.
You got that whole thing.
We're in
I got it,
partnership
yeah.
with USF. So USF is
Okay,
our partner.
they're sponsoring it.
Yep,
Great.
they're a partner with
So we'll do that, and if we got time, like you asked the question, we'll bring up Bruce what we're talking about. I tell you what, I want to do the conference twice, so I'll ask you about the conference pretty much right off the bat.
Yeah.
When and where? What are they discussing?
Dude, really
Who can go?
appreciate it, man.
Then you go in with the question about the helmets. Hey, I've got a question. You know, we're talking about all this. What is the technology? Hit
Yeah,
the
parents
stat.
don't know this stuff either.
Okay,
And
all right.
I'll make sure I'll hit us on at least the 1 minute to bring us out talking about the conference again.
Yeah. All about it, man.
Perfect.
Training
and-
up,
we
your,
gotta mention
training up your co-host here,
the
man.
book too. Look,
In the
this
circus,
is good
we gotta
training
talk
for
about
them,
it.
right?
Yes.
In the circus,
Yeah.
we got to talk about the circus.
That's on my thing. So
That's for some other.
next
They want to
week
know more.
we're going all into
I
the
knew I
circus.
should have sounded like it's gonna start a.
Hey, listen, acrobatics that probably injured the brain too. You know, although they have the big nets
Oh, that
they fall
explains
into.
it. Both my parents.
There you go, right?
I love it. All right, we're ready when you are, James. All right, 5 seconds.
Whether you are getting pre-approved because you're ready to move or calling on your cell because you're ready to sell, Lincoln Lending Group and the McIntosh Group real estate team are dedicated to making sure you're 100% ready for the Tampa marketplace by offering no obligation consultations for you at any time. Call the Lincoln Lending Group at 813-MORTGAGE. Remember, drop the E and they'll drop the fees. Call the McIntosh Group at 813-703-0683. Now back to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Cotto.
Hey, Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. We've been on the air 9 years now, and I don't think that I have ever had, more of an emotional connection to a story and to a guest. Honestly, I told the girls a week ago, my eyes were not dry the first time and probably the second time. And, if you keep talking, I'm going to lose it today too. But you have, Bruce, you have such a special message. And the thing is, this impacts our children and impacts all of us. Anybody who has kids has to hear this. It changed the way that my wife and I look at the sports we let our kids play. It's a very important message. So before I get into anything else, I know we want to we have a couple questions we want to ask you, but this conference that's coming up, the first of its kind, it's going to be right here in Tampa. Will you tell everybody when and where?
Yeah, man, it's amazing that when we started finding this huge gap that affects like 100% of parents in the country, there's never been a conference on this subject. We're like, what? So we have the first ever summit on subconcussive trauma and repeated head injuries here in Tampa. It's going to be May 16th and 17th at the Center for Advanced Medical Learning and Simulation in partnership with the University of Southern Florida and their concussion, pediatric, and psychiatric folks there. Amazing sponsors. And Dr. Ann McKee, the top-ranked CTE specialist in the world who does all the NFL brains, is our keynote speaker.
Oh, my God.
We have legislators. We're going to have NFL players talking about their experiences. We're going to be talking about diagnosis, how to treat this, how do we help children and adults that have suffering from this, how do we get them in coverage and insurance. It's going to be an amazing conference, and any parent can attend it. Anybody that wants to know about this subject, nonprofit, if you're in charge, if you have if you're in a mom's group, or any kind of a parental support group, or psychiatric, mental illness, suicide hotlines. If you have anything to do with kids or veterans, because it's a big veterans issue, we talk about that in the next show.
Right.
You should come and become educated and informed because this never happened before. Pretty excited.
I'm super excited. One more time, when and where? I know it's May 16th and 17th, and you said it's at Camels?
Yep, Camel's Center for Advanced Medical Learning and Simulation, which is the USF medical training campus right outside the convention center, downtown. Charlie Brown, plenty of places to eat.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a really good time.
How can we get tickets?
You can actually go to the website or go to the foundation and just register to be there. We've made it super affordable. I don't even know if we charge. But if you're a parent, a nonprofit or something like that, you go for free and you can put a table up and whatever. Yeah, it's not. We're breaking even. We don't make money on this. We're all about the message. All about the message.
Okay, and what's the website again?
Yes.
It's www.concussivesummit.com. Or you can go to the Mac Parkman Foundation website, www.mpfact.com, and you can get tickets there.
Great.
Yes, Mac Parkman Foundation, probably the easiest thing for you guys to Google, Mac Parkman Foundation, check it out. And by the way, you can reach out to me as well on this anytime, and I'll make sure I get you in touch with the right people. We'll get you to talk to Bruce, and if your family or you have experienced this, Bruce is there. He's an open book. I mean, he's there to help families, so don't be scared. We're trying to bring this to everybody. Ksenia, I think you had a question we were talking about in the break.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure you're doing a great job raising awareness. And, even more so, we just need to continue on this topic. But with all the conversations going on about it now, is there new technology maybe for the helmets? Like, is anything being done to, take the precautionary measures? Football and high school, that's just
the issue about helmets gets to the core issue, which is you can't stop subconcussive trauma.
Okay.
So the helmets become a little bit more padded. Now, they will drop some concussive hits below a concussive level, right? But you're still going to get a shake. No matter how hard the brain stops, whether it's a 5G hit or a 90G hit, which is what the NFL says is concussive, all right, you're going to get a movement of the brain. So the helmets are there to protect what they say is to protect the skull. They don't protect the brain. They'll protect the skull from fracture. They'll protect your kid's skull from getting harmed. But it does nothing for the brain. A helmet does nothing for the brain. It'll soften some of the hits because they put better padding in there. But here's what we found just last week. I started looking for a sensor. So if you're a mom or a dad, like Riddell has these sensor systems that they put on these helmets. Well, I want to know, how many hits has my kid had? There's not one thing on the market. Now, all the companies have gone out of business. It's like this big conspiracy thing I'm on right now.
What?
That a parent cannot buy any sensor that you can put on a helmet because the helmet makers will say it violates the warranty of the helmet, so they don't get it. And if they have a system like the Riddell football system that's gotten millions of hits, they don't share those with the parents. The coaches don't share them with the parents. So the parents have no idea how many hits have I had. And Riddell will not state at what concussive threshold those hits actually they show up on the sensor.
No.
So I cannot make this up, man. I've done it. We don't know if it's 30 Gs, 50 Gs, 90 Gs, or 10 Gs. They will not say. All they say it's an industry accepted threshold. They will not give it. So all these hits on our kids' heads are being recorded. Parents are not given access to it, and a parent cannot buy a sensor. They made all these really innovative sensors. You could put them on a soccer headband. You could put them, on all these parts of wrestling gears, right? So you can monitor your kid. You can't do it. You cannot. There's not one out there for parents. There's one company will do it for a team, but you have to have a team, but then the parents aren't allowed to see the hits.
How are we going to fix that? We only have a minute. How do we fix that?
This is just raising hell now, man. Because you just think I just told you something that could be affecting your child.
Yeah.
And say, all right, I'm going to let my child play that one season sport, but I want to know how many hits he had and how bad they were. You're not going to know. How do you like that?
This is unreal.
Figured this out last week. Crazy.
It's obviously a business opportunity as well.
Dude, but how come all these companies have gone out of business?
Right.
Like Shock Force. I even emailed them. They're all out of business, man. And part of it was the helmet companies say, you can't put that on a helmet because the warranty's violated, right? And then
maybe it's a new helmet.
Other ones I think went out of business because they couldn't find enough parents to buy. But I can't imagine a parent would not, if you know what we know now, would you not want to at least monitor this if you're going to let your kid play sports? And you can't. You cannot.
I'd pay $1,000.
Go on the internet and look right now and try to find impact sensors.
Yeah,
None.
this is crazy. So we're gonna have Bruce back on again. We'll have him on before the conference in May. I'd like to have you on maybe in April or even again so we can get more people to come there. Cynia and Rosa, you guys are doing great. Love having you as the co-host.
you.
And they had a whole page of stuff written down because they didn't know that Bruce was going to be in here. But I told you Bruce was going to take the show for us, right?
Frank likes to throw us into the fire.
I do.
guys
No,
did
but
great.
this was awesome. Listen, it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for your service, and I'm so sorry for your loss. Like that's just I can't imagine. But thank you for doing what you do.
No, I think we need to do this on the boat sometime, Frank.
Let's do it.
Let's record this on the boat, I think.
We can record it there. Bruce, thank you for coming on. Guys, RHR Conference, May 16th and 17th. Contact Frank the Bank. We'll get you in touch. Rosa and Ksenia, have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Woo! Dude, that was awesome. Man, Bruce. I mean, yeah. To be honest, it makes our life easier too. You know what I mean? We talk about real estate all the time, but we can always get a segment or two in real estate. We don't always have this up.
Military. We talk about everything. I talk about everything, man. But this is, near and dear to our hearts, and really appreciate the opportunity. And if you want, we'll bring books to your sites. We'll give free books that we can leave there for parents. Anybody wants to know more? I'll leave bags of bracelets that you can just hand out, so you get the book for free. We just appreciate spreading the word. I mean,
I'll bring that to the hockey place and hand it out to the kids.
Yeah,
and
man.
Parents.
Yeah, dude. Just so they know,
Yeah.
And it's like,
These
just
kids
be
love
aware.
these bands nowadays. They're all my son has freaking 3 of them.
Man, I'm at airports. I see parents with kids. I tell them my story, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, hugs, bracelets, and it just one life at a time, man. That's all we can do. We're up. It's a big fight, We're up against a lot of entrenched.
Helmet sensor shit.
Dude,
That's crazy. So they have it available, and they're just not
the only sensors I can find are bike sensors that when you crash sends a message going your son's crashed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, or your kid's crashed. That's good.
Well, the iPhone has that shock sensor in it. If
Right.
somebody falls or does something.
But
it picks
ask
up.
the iPhone, and that's okay because that's for an incident.
Right.
You can heal from that.
Right.
But if a parent wants to know, I want to know how many times my kid's been hit, and I want to know how hard he's been hit. You can't find that. There's not once, and there's been like 5 companies. I'll send you the research that have come up, and they're all out of business, man. Starting at 2010, bam, 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 bam. And so,
Who would be putting them out there? Like you would think that conspiracy-wise, somebody's going and buying them out or something.
that's what I think part of it is. I'm trying to get a hold of founders now to see if they've been bought out, because, dude, this is the kind of information that the companies in the football league, the leagues do not want parents.
That's what I wonder. Somebody
They do
went
not
in
want
and they
that.
bought them out and just folded it. That's the easiest way to close.